Push the record button. Alright, so we're on what, Vigil?
Yep.
Payload, Vigil. I'm guessing it's RC10? I don't think they've released another one, but who knows? But, I mean, regardless, the map doesn't change that much.
It's not like the map had a big change or something like that.
Yeah, there's
anyways.
nothing... Nothing like big and meta changing or anything, so... do you guys want me to go all attack first and then go all of defense, or go 1 point at a time? I don't know what is easier to digest.
I think one attack first and then all defense will work.
Okay. Do you agree, Bugged? You think that's the easiest way?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. We'll go through offense since it's a little bit easier. Well, if that's the case. Then I'll just swap when I get there. So, the biggest thing, so out of first, generally I'll sit here crouch scoped up and just looking to see if like sniper's trying to do like anything kind of cheeky in side house. Most snipers, most of the time, will play either on top of this hill here, looking to get a quick pick from this angle, or most of the defensive snipers will play like maybe they'll take like an aggro peek via main tracks. As the offensive sniper, I would just play for your team and look to cover them house in case like soldiers trying to take like early spam. You can generally headshot him or at least get good damage on him. So then, when your flank does take house, you can you're basically just making it easier for them. I always suggest coming out main or coming out to flank house here, and then you can look and just see like what they're giving you. Sometimes like demo man will be like AFK right here, or heavies will be in like the mouth tunnel, or the mouth of tunnel. Sometimes they'll also be on the head glitch here that they can stand. But basically the whole goal of offensive first is just to take flank with like your entire team. So generally that's gonna be like scout, soldier, pyro, and like spy, those 5. Demo man's gonna go main, NG's gonna go tracks, heavy can go tracks. Heavy sometimes can come flank, but heavy should mostly just stay on cart. And then obviously your med just kind of sits in spawn and just is trying to arrow people. The reason that we go flank is that we want to basically just prevent sniper from ever peeking tracks. So you want to basically lock down this angle. You're gonna be able to see him, like if he falls back. You can see him through the chicken wire. But basically we just want to lock down this angle, so then your cart pushers are just pushing cart for free, and all they have to worry about is like a demo spamming or like spy, right? So the biggest thing here is that, at least in my, and I was thinking about this prior to coming in for this review, I was thinking about like, what if sniper starts swinging on you? Like, is it like, should you take the SVS or should you just kind of like dip out? And honestly, I don't have a great reason for either. Usually I think that I would just default to taking the SVS because, like, if he's gonna swing into me, I should just kind of pre-aim it or pre-fire it a little bit. Or the other thing is that you can just kind of dip out. Like, if you see him start like swinging here, you just dip out real quick, and then you can like reposition. Because you essentially want to stay alive, right? If you take the SVS and you die, then he can kind of swing to cart and, or swing to like main here, and just start peeking everything on tracks. So I think that this is gonna be something that you guys kind of gotta catch a feel for, on like how you want to just deal with it. But I, at least on offense first, I always come here, come flank. Either come here, or if I think that they're giving me a lot of room, you can come here. And then like if they're on their way out, you might even be able to catch a timing to where you can shoot some of them in like the side or in the back, as they're running away. So that's kind of first. Excuse me. One thing I will say, that really common sticky traps are right here in the middle of point. The demoman can hide his sticks really, really well in here, so kind of be aware of it, or you might want to like just look for the sticky traps, or like let your team know that this like little point here really disguises the sticks pretty well. And then whenever they see that card has been capped, then the demo just dets. The other big thing that's really important about first offense is that when you guys are like pushing cart, you as sniper are holding this cross. This cross has been like it's been becoming more and more popular in Invite to where you can kind of hit a timing from the defensive side, and we'll go over this, where you can like catch a medic. Like if you hide your dot here, and like this is all you show, you can see like the beam coming, or even like right here, you can kind of see like the beam coming through some of these cracks, and then you step out, and then you can get like a 150 on the medic and drop. So having your sniper hold that is really, really important. I mean, alternatively, they can also do the same thing, but this is much more committed because they have to now worry about this drop down also. If like the defensive sniper is playing in here, so they have to stay much more committed. And this is like gonna be the easiest one for him to like take a shot and then fall out. So as the offensive sniper, you want to make sure that you're holding for that peak. So that's it. Alright, second offense now. Most teams are gonna say, okay, we're just gonna like run uphill, take an Uber exchange, and then fight for like a post. It's kind of gonna be the default that most people do. I personally hate taking this SVS from like the boxes here or like anywhere here. Like you'll see me in prior videos and like prior VODs, like I do this, but I only do it really once. The whole point of why I might take like an early SVS is because the card is so far back still that I'm not really punished if I die, right? Let's say card is just capped and I'm peeking here trying to get like an early pick, maybe a demo man, maybe on like the sniper. Okay, let's say I lose it. It doesn't really matter because I have like a 7 or 8 second respawn. And now by the time that I'm back, card is like here, right? And you really don't want to be like necessarily pushing and Ubering in while the card is still so far back because it means that you have to hold much longer. So what I always recommend when like everyone's in position, cart's in a good spot, you guys are gonna go for the Uber, I always say come side house. We call this Jenkins, but it's just the side house. I like to look through here because it allows me to see where sniper is. Is he in the kind of the default spot, which will be in this area? Or is he playing in like the house, like up against the house area? If I don't see sniper, I have to warn my team that sniper's playing this close house angle. Because the whole reason that you come into here is basically if sniper's playing the default, he has to look at you. Because at any point you can swing out and try and get like a quick 150 on him if he's not buffed and you see it. All you're trying to do is make room for your team just to walk in. So if you have snipers if he's looking at you, that means he's not looking at your team, which means that your team now can also take a better Uber. Instead of having to Uber like way back here, now your team can Uber here because they don't have to worry about sniper. So going side house is super important. Plus it has good angles, right? Like let's say, you don't see sniper here, and he's not called that he's playing at the house angle. You can peek here because usually there's like a heavy, there's a soldier that plays in the side tunnel. Sometimes demo men will like swing, right? You guys are playing at a level to where people aren't gonna play 100% correct all of the time, and even in invite people don't play 100% correctly. So people are just gonna be like running randomly like into your sightline, and that could be just like a kill in your favor. So the one thing I will say about offensive on second is because your team has to Uber first, it means that their Uber is going to last much longer than yours. So generally, when I know that we're getting ready to exchange or that we've Ubered, there's no point in for me to play here anymore. I fall back, literally, all the way back to this corner, and I put myself in this corner so I can't get backstabbed. And generally we'll put like pyro or we put heavy with me. Most of the time it's the pyro that plays with me in post, because in post you don't really want a ton of people because you don't want to have to flash a lot. So it'll be scout, demo, medic in the Uber to get the force. They get the force, and then I'm literally just here either with my melee out or I'm just like sitting here chilling, trying not to get backstabbed. Now when somebody calls, okay, post, it's, you know, their Uber's over, then I might come up here and I might get a little bit more aggressive while my team is trying to take back space. So that's kind of the timing of how this point will work if your team plays it kind of how I described it. You can do, like if you're finding that hill is not working at all and you have to kind of mix it up, there's a few other things that you can do. You can obviously go through drop, or you can just walk through main here. But it's also definitely okay for you guys to play like this, where you're hard scoped up walking on this. Because the only class that's going to peek you is either going to be a soldier, which you should be able to flick to decently well, or like a heavy. And you're going to hear the heavy be close unless he's on Tommyslav. And you can just kill him if you're fully charged with the 450. Then what this will allow you to do, let's say no one challenges you, you might even be able to full swing, either kill the medic, kill the demo, kill an NG, get something good. Also kind of as like a, while all the chaos is going on, you can play here and like kill people while they're on like respawn, right? You can take a look at the top of your screen and kind of gauge when you think people are going to be running out the door, right? Like if I see, okay, sniper just respawned, no, 1, 2, 3, door opens, and you're already posted for it, he might just instantly die again as soon as you see that this door opens. So that's kind of a different play if you wanted to make one. Kind of it. You can go for, if your team is into sacking, you can full send it and try to go for like a quick scope on the medic that might be sitting in the dispenser here over top of hill, like with your full team. Doesn't really matter. There's not really anything better. You could come side tunnel on a sack, but that's really about it. When you guys are actually finally pushing hill, I personally hate this angle. I do not like sniping from this angle. I think from the defensive side, it's super easy to see like where like the offensive sniper's head's gonna be, so pre-aiming it's super easy. Plus, generally I found people actually don't come here. They either kite into shutter or they kite all the way into backtrack, so I think playing back here is better. So when your team is finally pushing and like you have hill control, I would just focus on this and focus on shutter. And like obviously like the little doorway right from the shutter here. And just snipe people that way. If you find that they're actually like hard on cart, then obviously you have to come here to help, but I think playing here is probably going to be your best. Even playing here is better, right? If you're just a little bit more isolated, you have a little bit more cover. You have a little bit more surfing potential in case like a soldier bombs you. If you play, like if you drop to roof or anything, you're just kind of screwed. So kind of play on top of hill, play for post, and then eventually just hit shots and you just win this point. That's kind of it for second offense. When you're transitioning into third now, this is a really common sniper sightline that people love to hold as the defensive sniper, so just kind of be ready for it. Generally, I'll hold this until my medic or my team is telling me, like, hey, we're going to go flank. Kind of the meta strat is that you send everybody to flank here. Either you come through what we call lamps, you come out this way, and like your full combo, or the more safe way that everyone does is that they come through lockers here. And then, like, this is literally like full combo, minus like 2 or 3 people. This is like scout, demo, soldier, pyro, medic, like almost everybody. Obviously, you still have to push cart, right? So like, NG scout are kind of on cart duty. Or what your team will start doing now is they take all this space, and then your demo man will start pressuring from ladder here, is what we call this. So your demo man will be spamming blah 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 blah, and you can kind of do one of 2 things. You can either go for the big flank route, which is more risky. Coming here is just risky because scout and soldier bombs are kind of just really, really hard to deal with, especially with most scouts using the toys, the ball and cleaver. And especially if you're like a sitting duck here, you might even get crit bomb, so that kind of hurts. And then obviously soldier bombs over top are like really, really hard to defend unless you have really good reaction time. So what I usually do, and this is usually like right before Ubers, right? Like my demo man is gonna be posturing here, like ready to take an Uber. They're gonna walk through. They're gonna Uber now. The reason that you don't really want to Uber through main is just because, like, this is kind of you don't have as much info as if you're coming through ladder. So, what I usually do is I sit here with my pyro, and I'll work this sightline. So if you think about what we talked about in the first, now I'm holding this whole sightline. So this sightline and everything to the left is now mine, right? So I mean, cart has to get pushed up to this point, which I mean, sniper has to be playing on the left side if he wants to have any impact, right? So I'm basically just holding this, and I'm either pre-aiming if I see people through the chicken wire through the window here. I'm pre-aiming like headshots on like soldiers, maybe on like a heavy, right? Especially when cart starts getting here, maybe the heavy's gonna come full revved around the corner. That's kind of what I'm looking out for. Obviously priority is still, you know, like if sniper wants to challenge you, then you kind of have to deal with him. But you should be nice and safe here. You'll have a pyro, you have a fresh buff. Assuming that your team comes through this way. If your team likes to do the main pushes, I still personally would rather just work with my flank on taking big flank control and coming this way, rather than kind of having to play around staircase, because I think here you're just going to get backstabbed all day. And your team's going to be playing on tracks, and you're not really going to get a lot of support. So in that kind of case, I would much rather play on the flank with like my scout and my soldier, kind of similar to like Lakeside a little bit, where you're now using them for help, or like even like my heavy to some extent. I'd work here. What I try and do is that I try and find like an area where I know that their sniper's not. So if I don't see sniper up to this point, I'm not gonna start inching further and further out, unless he's dead, right? I don't want to have to take an SVS because now I have like so much area, right? I have this whole sight line. Let's say even from this sight line, I have all of this locked down. Everything from this point to the left is mine. So this is kind of one of the ones where I said it's a little bit counterintuitive for offensive sniper because generally we want to force SVS. But when you get to here and you have so much vision, there's really no point for you to force an SVS because if they want to deal with cart, they have to swing. If you want to help deal with gun, you're generally going to see gun here. Gun might be on the box, gun might be in the middle of tracks here. You have ways of helping your team without having to win the SVS. Plus, and we'll talk about this too when we're on defense. Even if sniper is playing here, like what do they? They don't see anything, right? The only thing that they're going to be waiting for is if you peek into them. So kind of keep that in mind. Your two kind of sweet spots are either going to be around lamps, playing somewhere here with like your pyro, and making sure your pyro just prevents you from getting backstabbed, or you can play in the big flank. The cool thing about playing big flank too is that you can generally scope up and catch a scout, catch a soldier here that's kind of just AFK, maybe just running back and forth. And when you kill one of them now, it opens up the side of the map for your soldier now, or your scout to take room. So it's not just we're only looking at combo and working about tracks, we're trying to enable our team into being able to take more aggressive positions, right? If you kill soldier, right, now your soldier can come here, now he can spam all this area. Well, if he's spamming that area, you don't really have to peek it. If they're going to be running away from the spam, they're going to be running into your sightline now, right? So kind of things to think about. That's kind of third. If you guys are able to get a forward hold, what this means is like, you guys fully wipe them on second, they're still on respawn, your team is able to get here. Your demo men should be locking out this gate here. You should be sticky trapping this. And then you guys go tracks. And then really, and I don't know if this will actually ever happen, but your team should be playing up here, while you can kind of sit back here on tracks and like watch for stuff getting ready to peak. But that's only in the case of a forward hold would you ever do this. So they full wipe on second, cart's still really far back. You guys have a timing though. Your demo man can get here, he locks off the shutter, and now this is all becomes your territory. And I think that's about it. Talked about Uber, talked about flank. Stairs is okay, it's not great. Okay. Alright, last time. So at least an invite, kind of the meta is for most people to take their Ubers through big flank here. Combo will drop down, they'll drop down here, they start running. Demo scout Uber up through here. And then they usually will try and end here, while the other team will either have to anti-Uber or counter-Uber, and then but they won't really be able to push them out. So when that happens, what I prefer to do, rather than what a lot of people like to default to, I don't like this angle. This angle is very difficult. There's a very clear headshot angle if you play here, if you're the defensive sniper for where he can hold you. And also, it's usually you're getting spammed the shit, and like, there's just too much pressure. So if your team's gonna go the flank route, you can do like in a two-step process. You can come up here and hold for like soldier, scout, or even like AFK heavy up here on top of this box to hold you, and that's like a +1 kill for you. Or what you can do is now you come up here and now you peek this side of the wall, which a lot of people aren't holding for. Most snipers are gonna hold this angle, where now if you come up from this side, it throws them off. Now you can even see, okay, are they doing anything aggro into red room? Are they in kind of the really bad spot to hold? And then you can start working your way up. I see NG up here, sniper maybe is AFK around here, and then you start making your progression, right? It's just a different angle. I'm not saying that this angle is like awful for you to hold. It's kind of just super coin flippy, and it doesn't feel great, especially if you're not having a great SVS day. So definitely try to mix in the left side peak, in my opinion. Also, in case you don't know, if you're struggling to get back up, there's these pipes that you can jump on the window frame, and then you jump up here. for like a quick rotation back up. Like let's say now you want to peek main, and instead of like walking all the way around, do the quick little jump, and now you can come back to main real quick. I should have mentioned this before the progression, but this angle here is really, really important for you to hold. Really important, especially after your team wipes, and the defensive sniper wants to play aggressive, and he could look to shoot your medic in the ankles here. So make sure that you're getting ready to hold for this angle upon your respawn. It's really, really common for medics to just not even jump, but I would tell your med to like always jump whenever they have to cross this door frame. But hopefully you can also hold it, but sometimes timings and stuff, it just doesn't work out for it. You can peek in the red room and scope up and see like if anything peeks you here. Sometimes you can pick off a heavy that's playing up top, but usually I don't try and peek any further. It's just too risky once you get here. But if I know that a heavy likes to play on top of boxes, I might try and peek him a little bit and make sure. He can always see you, so if he's not gonna walk into you, then obviously abandon it. But that's an easy heavy killer. You can also play through main a little bit. Usually you want to hold about here, which seems really, really tall, but a lot of soldiers like to AD here. And when they do, if you have a decent enough reaction time, you can kill the soldier that peeks you and open up the site. This is kind of where your headshot angle is going to be, so you might even want to get into a habit of like pre-firing it in case sniper's even holding it. You're just going to eat a lot of spam if you come through main. I'm not saying that you never should come through main, because we always want to like mix up kind of where we're peeking, but if you come through main and Demo Man likes to play here, you're just going to eat lots of like 40 damage chip, and then you're going to eventually have to fall back. So if you get to about here and you don't see anything, I wouldn't recommend swinging anymore, but rotating to one of your other spots that you can play. As soon as sniper dies, whether to like you win the SVS, or like to your spy, or like they die to a sack, your team should kind of just bundle up around you, and you guys should just be pushing cart while you sit in this doorway and kill everything that peeks you. If sniper ever dies on the defensive side, it's super difficult for the defensive team to hold if you have all of this control here, right? For anything to peek you, they have to run to your sightline, and the game just becomes impossible. I don't think that you should come inside, because now you have splash walls to have to deal with. But at least early on, until card is like super far up, and like let's say maybe they're even like up here being annoying, then you can make your rotation into like here or here to help deal with it. But generally, getting the SGS, winning it, and then communicating to your team like, hey, when sniper dies, I'm going to be playing big door, is really, really key for you guys to like just making this point easy. This point can be very difficult if your team's not very coordinated or they don't play around like crucial picks. Well, that's kind of it for offense. You guys have any questions for offense in particular? And then we'll go over defense.
Not really.
Bug, you good?
What classes specifically would you ask the most to be on you regarding spy?
So in my opinion, it's kind of pyro a lot on this map. So on last in particular, it's gonna be NG. Especially like if you take big door, like let's say you win SVS, usually my NG will have like a mini on top of the roof preventing like the flank push, or he'll just be sitting here obviously with a shotgun out. When you're on third, I think the best class is pyro, because most of the time it's going to be an Uber exchange, and the Uber exchange, the pyro doesn't really need to be in it. It's not great for him to be in it. So if I just put pyro back with me, it tends to work out the best. At least on third. Second, we kind of talked about pyro. Most of the time will just sit in the house with you for the Uber exchange. Like once again, pyro doesn't need to be here. Like he's reflecting spam for people that are already invincible for like your teammates for at the end of their Uber, so it doesn't really make sense. And NG a lot of the time just needs to be on cart because it's payload. So on Koth, you're kind of gonna find that your NG can play with you a little bit more, because they don't have as much responsibility as like pyro reflecting rockets, reflecting spam. On payload, your pyro can be a little bit more because the spam is not nearly as much as on Koth. And also, pyro doesn't necessarily always want to be in like Uber Exchange. So that's kind of why we kind of switch a little bit when it comes to payload. This is just what my team did though on help. Me and American played here. But that might change depending on like your guys' individual and unique like setups, right, within your teams. So you can, if you're on, oh, that's a defensive play, never mind. Okay, let's go over defense now. And actually, give me a second to grab water because I'm losing my voice. Okay. So, on first here, I don't recommend people play in the side house on first defense. I think the risk outweighs the benefit. I even forget. There we go. The only play that so I don't recommend making this play. I guess we'll start here. I don't recommend making this play. I don't think that there's enough here, or like enough benefit for even if you get like one kill, that's really gonna impact the game that much. The one play that I will say that you could make if you really wanted to kind of mix it up, you could come here, and now you're really looking at the right side spawn, like their left, your right. And you're looking mostly for demomen, or you're looking for the soldier. Because some demomens will like to do like a sticky jump to get here quickly. Some will just like walk out in a straight line. So getting the first kill on the demomen could be good, because now you have a quick rotate. When you commit too far in, there's a little bit of a risk though that you might get rushed down by scout, soldier, just anything else. If you play here, let's say you play here, you miss a shot. Well now, okay, the whole team knows that you're there. Maybe this demoman that comes out this way now, maybe he's gonna look to bomb into here, and now he kills you on the way out. Also, you have a really, really, really long rotate out. So that's why if I'm gonna play side house at all, I'm just gonna play in this window, and I'm gonna look at the right side of spawn. Like I said, when we were on offense, when we were on offense, some snipers will do this peek. It's not great. You don't have enough time to really be able to hit a good shot, in my opinion. Especially as soon as the gates drop, and it's super neglected if they just play on like the left side of the spawn. Can't really see it, right? Unless you're like super committed or you're hitting like a crack shot. So most of the time, what I recommend is that you play here and then you just play for one shot drop off. Trying to kill someone that's gonna go flank. It's basically the same shot as if you committed on the flank house, but it's just a lot safer because now you take a shot, fall off, and your whole team is right here. So your medic can now just beam you back up if you take like any shit. You can walk into main. You kind of like jiggle over this hill and you can see into main. Most snipers will kind of hold you though, or if they don't see you, they're gonna be at least be aware of it. So kind of take that into account with where when you decide to like how you're gonna peek this. It's up to you to kind of just mess around with angles and figure out like what you don't like. Like if the enemy sniper obviously isn't looking or like you don't see him, he's most of the time gonna be hiding here, and he might walk out into you. So just kind of be aware. Like if you peek this and you see nothing, or like you see like a heavy or an NG, sniper's probably gonna walk here, and he might be able to get you on like drop or something. When the shutter is open. Other than that, we kind of default back to here. We're gonna look to help out our flank. Taking SVS, or if we have to. I know that it's a little bit counterintuitive that we are taking SVS when we're on defense. However, if the cart and you die early enough on this point, it doesn't really impact the main hold, which is going to be second. It's kind of like Swiftwater. If you die while you're on first defense to like a sniper or backstab or like spam, it's not really the end of the world because you're going to respawn in time to have a second hold, which is like the better of the two holds. So it's the exact same philosophy that we have on Swift. So like let's say you lose SVS, okay, your whole team just leaves. You guys prep for a second hold, yada yada yada. When they are getting ready to cap first, like that angle that I told you guys to hold for, if the enemy sniper isn't holding for you, or like you kind of want to like, you think, oh shit, like, you know, we kind of need to make up a little bit of time, you could come here and just kind of evaluate how long you want to stay based off of like, if when they're about to cap, if you see the medic, you know, you're gonna have timings, right? The biggest thing is that you don't know where Spy is, so you don't know what he's called. If you know Spy is alive and that you haven't seen anything peeking this angle, and they cap cart, most of the time you've probably already been called. So then you would just rotate back and do a default hold. But this is like one of the aggro peaks that we can do to really kind of impact. We can kill demo, we can kill medic, etc. The default hold that I'm going to show you guys is assuming that your demo man is playing around here and he's spamming down this sightline here, or he's playing like around here and he's spamming here. Is we're going to play up against this sheet, and we're going to hold, and we're basically waiting for people to swing into us. The reason that we play here instead of playing the house angle, this is pretty like pre-aimable. And the sheet is also super like non-committed, right? If we see people come up, we take a shot. Oh my, like they're already up to here. Now we can fall back and we're still safe. But if you're playing here and the demo man's running up, he might be able just to like straight up just pipe you like twice, like boom boom, and now you're dead. But if you're playing super far over, it's a lot more time now for his pipes to have to travel and for how easy it is for you to get out. Plus, your medic can always come here. As long as your medic doesn't cross this sightline with the side house and they come here, this is like within beam range. And so you can most of the time always be 185. If you're not buffed, just calm to your medic that you need a buff because it's super safe for them to just beam you. Also, your pyro kind of needs to be super protecting you because of like where you're at, right? You don't want them to be able to cloak inside of shutter. They cloak and just backstab you while your pyro is really checking for the gun. Usually on this point, our scout is super spy focused on like defending with the gun, chasing spy around, and our pyro is generally protecting me on this hill angle here, and also helping to prevent like any sort of spam that comes over. So this is gonna be your default. Why is this so good? You have a very good angle, and you can kind of abuse like the physics. You see on my dot, right? So technically, like I'm fully behind this piece of metal right now, like up until this point, right? So we kind of have to keep an eye on it, but you have a very good angle for if anything's gonna try and cross into Jenkins. You see the doorway, you can see even a little bit deeper into it, but also, like if they swing on you, you're kind of being swung on at the same time, to where sometimes like maybe demo men could even spam you if you're playing like too far back on the hill. But when they swing, it's gonna be a pretty easy shot for you guys to hit. And then once the demo man dies, the whole hold is like kind of just halted. And plus, you might even be able to fall here, and you can still hold this angle. So you just basically take a couple steps back and you can hold. But this is gonna be where you guys are gonna make all of your money. This is like the sniper like heaven. Usually you'll have like soldier heavy will be on side tunnel, or like just soldier heavy might be looking at like main tunnel on top of the rocks. Scout kind of chasing around. So just kind of give you guys a little bit of a flow for how this is gonna go. Now, thing is though, you have to be listening for your spy. Your spy is really probably gonna be on cloak and dagger, and probably just sitting somewhere in the back. And they can call sniper positions like the whole time, right? And as long as you're not giving sniper anything to like look at, like sniper has to peek here, he still sees nothing. He's probably gonna assume that you're here, but this is still a little bit of a difficult shot for him to peek into, especially if you're having good pre-aim, or like where he's gonna swing into you at. Right, it's probably gonna be like right around this head level. So you should be able to win this SVS pretty easily, I think. Other than that, let's say they take an Uber exchange. Like, let's say when you see their demo man, he's Ubered. I fall back, and I literally sit and shutter back against the wall. I have a health pack here if I need it, and I'm waiting for the call for post. Then when they call post, usually your team should still have top of hill control, because they Uber in first. You guys have a delayed pop, your Uber is going to be running out a lot later. And now, when post comes, then you can come back to your spot. And then you basically just rinse and repeat. So Uber comes, fall back, then just retake your spot. If your team didn't clear them out and they're still on the top of hill, well then that just means that you have to be a little bit more careful of like where they can swing. And generally, maybe you start playing more towards your gun. But usually I play just around this area from like shutter, and I kind of just make like a little half circle. That's it for second defense. Yeah, you can get a little cheeky if you want and do some of these kind of peeks, like if they're not really pressuring you at all. I don't really recommend main tunnel peeks. You can do some funny stuff. Oh, one thing actually I should have said. At the very beginning, right? Like let's say they just cap first and you need to kind of get like a pick to slow them down. You guys can do a super aggro hold here. And basically stand at the top of like in front of the shed here. And basically just sit here and hold. You'll be able to see people coming into you. You'll have a buff. You call for a buff, you'll get 185. That means you can't be like quickscoped and you can't just die to a 150. And it also catches them off guard because of how far left you are. A lot of people don't realize that. Let's say like we're gonna play all the sniper angles, right? Playing the sniper angle, playing the sniper angle. Okay, look, this is most common sniper angle, and these are the most common sniper angles. Well, when the sniper now is swinging, he's getting pre-aimed. Oh my god, what the fuck is he doing here now? Right? So you can kind of catch people off guard by playing a little bit more aggro. And usually I only play this if I have to kind of slow them down and maybe get like one pick. I take one shot and then I always fall away. Now, if my team is fully stabilized, then I just fall back and I'll go back into the default. But you can kind of get a little cheeky here and take a little bit of a tall. Plus, people aren't really pre-aiming like where your head level is. Like, I'm not turning this corner looking like most of the time like here. Or at least I didn't learn to, right? You know, you can always come here and jiggle stuff. Like snipers here now, then maybe you quick swing and kill them. But at least when I was like learning to play, a lot of people didn't do this, and so it throws like your height down or your height off for where you're pre-aiming. So that's mostly second. There's a couple cheeky angles that you guys can do if you're in like full retreat, Obviously, if you have to play backtracks, you have to play backtracks, shooting at stuff on top of hill. You can play this angle, which I found out was kind of cool. For people that like to push into shutter, you can come here into this little like secret area, and you can look here. And if something's gonna peek and they're gonna open up shutter, you're gonna be able to figure it out really quick. And it's super safe. You take one shot and then now you just fall back out through like how you normally would. But you can kind of catch someone in case like the enemy team's trying to like go fast, and like maybe you kill a medic or you kill a demo, right? If the cart's super far back and they just capped and you're still holding here, then they open it up, blah blah blah. So just another little cheeky angle that you can play. Third defense. As cart's coming up, you can look to take this peek. Generally I don't. I think that there's a little bit too much risk. Not necessarily just from cart, but from this doorway here. So like when you scope in on here, you can't see the ramp, and that's where a lot of combos like to come through. So maybe you just get like two pipe, maybe you just catch a bunch of stickies, yada yada. You can look through these windows to see how the enemy team is going to rotate. So you know kind of like how if they're gonna go big flank, are they looking to try and go through lamps? Okay, if they're gonna go through lamps, now I'm gonna post up here. There's another spot that you can play if you have someone kind of watching main for you. You can play aggro on tracks and look into deep lockers here. And sometimes catch like medics off. Especially if you get like a full charge, right? Assuming that like someone's covering my main. I peek here, okay, maybe I catch sniper off guard, maybe he walks up on top of the ramp trying to look deep into your flank. Okay, bam, he's dead now. This point really is hard for the defensive sniper, I found, because there's not a lot of room and there's not a lot of plays that you can make. We'll kind of talk about the safer play, which is you're playing around your gun, around your engineer, and you're kind of looking for sniper to eventually peek into you. You can use this window to kind of figure out like what's going on, right? If you look through, okay, are they gonna go big flank? Are they coming through ladders? Where is sniper posted up inside of lamps? Okay, is he bam? You know, so utilize this window for like if you're ever confused on like where the enemy team is. If you don't see them most of the time, they're probably just gonna be on big flank or they're gonna be sitting in main. So the super safe play is that you kind of just play around your gun, and then you're gonna hold big flank for like sniper to eventually peek into you, right? You might have to chow the sniper if he's at like lamps, or if he's here, or maybe you can catch like demo men or like a medic that's falling back like post Uber. But there's not really like a great singular play that you can do on third defense. This point does not feel good to snipe on. If you want to play kind of the Chad way, is where you basically just fully commit to holding the flank. You can play over here with your soldier and your scout. But it's like kind of feast or famine. You can jump up onto the rock, look into lamps. You can look into main. A lot of plays. I think that there's another. Can you jump up on here? I forget now. Yeah, you can jump up on top of here, look into main too if you need something safe. You can peek deep lockers if you think that the full combo's rotating there. Kind of etc. The one cheeky spot that I was going to talk about was like if there's really nothing going on and you think that like maybe your team needs a play and the team has been known to do like main Ubers, you can sometimes hide here or like hide like this, and then you can see, okay, I see Demo Man going, I see him with the beam on him, and now maybe you walk out and then you can Uber, or then you can kill the medic. I don't really recommend this. This is kind of like a one-off thing that I would do like, I don't know, once every 10 or 12 games, but it is an option for you guys to do. I think that's it for third defense. I don't really have anything else. Oh, don't be... I should have talked about this on offense. If you're on defense, don't peek this. Like, if they take the point, don't try and get, like, a cheeky snipe through the door. It's not worth it. Once you play against better snipers, every single sniper is going to be sitting here holding, waiting for you to fucking peek it. So just don't peek that doorway. It doesn't do anyone any good. Go to red team real quick. Same thing on this doorway when you're leaving 2. Just, if they've capped 2, don't try and come here for, like, 1 more. Better teams are going to start sticky trapping this, so as soon as, like, their demo man's, like, just waiting for the door to open, he's going to instantly dead. So just... And that's really unfortunate. We'll just go the long way. I don't feel like turning on cheats and no clip and stuff. Alright, last. So, this is a point very similar to second. You guys can definitely park the bus on this point. It's really good for sniper since everyone has to peek into you. And you have really decent headshot angles. So, let's kind of go over this. So, it's really going to be dependent on your spy. But, kind of the metas become, Demo Man kind of holds like super aggro. Like here, and spammed either red room or he's spamming main. So then stuff can't peek main. While he's doing that, you kind of need to be wary of the big door peek. And why big door is important. So you really need to be listening to your spy. Your spy has to know to give you a good comm of, is he left side big door or is he right side big door? That is such a... If he just says big door or cliff or whatever, it's a really big... it's a really big chunk of information that's missing now. Because if he doesn't call, and you've pre-aimed, like let's say you're pre-aimed on big door, and now your demo man dies because he peeked this side that we kind of talked about, it's just a massive breakdown in communication, and your demo man dying or you dying will kind of guarantee the fact that they will push. So kind of keep that in mind. But if I know my demo man is playing here, then big door becomes mine. Hopefully your medic is playing aggro with him. So the medic's playing like around here or like up here. And then giving heals to everybody and then being able to keep you buffed. You can play here too. This is the headshot angle. I think if I remember, the bottom of this roof, this orange bit, is where you need to be pre-aiming. So a lot of times too, like I'll come here and I'll hold this angle. And then all I'm doing is I'm waiting for something to peek and I'm looking for the gray color of the sandbox or like the skybox to go away, and that's when I'm pulling my trigger. So sometimes I'll even just peek this, and now I'm waiting, I see color, bam, and I'm instantly pulling my shot, and generally it's good enough for a kill, if you've pre-aimed it correctly. So that's the angle, same thing over here. Angle becomes a little bit different if you're further back, but generally that's a pretty good reference point, because then you can make like minor adjustments pretty easily. So big door is kind of your baby. This is where you like need to be paying attention to. let's say sniper dies, then you can get a little bit more freedom to do more roomy kind of things. Whether you peek here, right? Your demo man's still spamming main, so you can kind of peek red. You can peek into main a little bit. This is the angle that I was telling you guys to hold for, right? You can see medics coming. You can shoot them in the ankles. You can drop them. So that's really big. Just get ready though. If the offensive sniper is good, he's going to be holding for you. He might even peek low side. He might peek on the high side. He might have already been here, so now he dropped off. Maybe he's on the health pack and he's going to peek you from the right side. There's all sorts of different things that you can do. It's not a bad idea to rotate here and come flank and either look red, look main. These aren't bad rotates. They just become a little bit more risky because your overheal is going to be wearing off a little bit. You're rotating to kind of like a heavy. Spy might have already been like here, and now he's waiting. He stabs you. You don't really have great protection, but it's not a bad rotate. What I would say is, if you don't see anything in like 2 to 3 seconds of making this rotate, or like a full charge, just rotate off. Also, for the love of God, please tell your heavies that they can look through this grate to see if a sniper goes red, so then he doesn't die to this. Kind of the cheeky thing that you can do is that you can also come on top of the little control panel here, and you can shoot people in like the feet, right? This is kind of good for a sniper. Sniper comes. It's not super practical, but it is something that you can do. Now, if let's say your team is kind of taking over full flank control, you can definitely come all the way out here and see if they're just like AFK outside of red room, right? If you know that like soldier, scout, spy are all dead, and you kind of want to make like a cheeky play, like you can for sure come here. And then look main, you can swing a little bit further, and then still get out in time because you have a health pack there. So any kind of chip damage you take is just going to be negated. I don't ever peek red. This is kind of not a very good peek. But basically, kind of the TLDR of last is like big door is like where you have to make your money. You big door, and then like you can rotate around to like main and to red room. But big door is like the big one. Because you don't want your team getting shot in the side of the head for an angle that you kind of were supposed to be watching, right? Like we kind of think about it like on Asheville. Like if you're watching Shutter, your demo man should be watching bats. If your demo man's watching main, you want to be watching something that he's not watching. Don't get kind of dog coned into like, oh my god, they're all main. Like my team is screaming that they're all in main. Like just let your demo man do his job, and then you watch whatever angle is possibly not called. Because people don't have the most precise comms in TF2. It's just like, I mean, shit, dude, we say like left and right for like a ton of stuff. That's not that's not precise. So, you can also do like another cheeky little peek. You can be here. If a sniper wants to peek into you, this is another way to throw him off. If you're expecting like a door peek, and instead of being here, now you play in front of it. Another kind of way. Other than that, that's kind of it. During Uber exchanges, most of the time what I'll do is I'll just retreat back to here. And now I can use this window here to kind of decide, okay, do I need to go far right? And look at like, maybe there's a heavy coming out of here that I have to kill. Okay, I see sniper. I can now swing on him pretty quick. Bam, he's now dead. You know, utilize this window, especially during Ubers. During Ubers, my whole job is just literally staying alive. So the second that I see an Uber exchange, I'm kind of just living. Or like if I know that they're gonna Uber through cliff and through side, maybe I come here and I'm looking for main. But the whole time I'm kind of putting myself as far away from the Uber as possible because I don't want to have to make my medic flash me. I think that's kind of it though. You guys have any questions on defense?
That's it for me.
Bug, you good?
Mm-mm.
You're not good?
I am good. I
Oh,
meant
okay.
like questions.
Oh, okay, okay, cool.